What's up, guys? My name is Josh, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my pedal board. This is video 2, and you're watching on Rhythm and Praise. So, today I'm going to focus on my chromatic tuner and my JDI pedal, or JDI, DI box. Let me just focus on the tuner here. We'll start with that. So, the tuner, I'm just going to give you a quick breakdown of where it is and why I use it. So, because a lot of people now use the clip-on tuners, and I used to use one, and I was usually pretty cool with it, but I found that they're not very reliable. They usually die very easily, so you always have to make sure you check it before you bring it. And sometimes it just stopped working on me. I had a snark, and it sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. So it was very disappointing. And I've used several, and it's the same type of thing, especially when the battery starts to go. It doesn't work as well. So this solves that. You never have to change batteries if you have a proper power source for your pedal board. And you get accurate tuning for especially the lower notes, because that's where sometimes you'll have issues, especially if you're in a practice session and you can't really get a lot of silence when you're tuning. The other benefit of this pedal is that it acts as a mute. So it allows you to kill your sound. So literally right now, I'm not playing, or sorry, I have it engaged. You can't hear me playing at all, right? I'll undo it. All right, so it kills this thing with your fingers if you need quiet moments. And when you're at church, there are a lot of quiet moments. So that will help kind of like a kill switch is always a great thing to have, especially if there's some weird electronic things going wrong or your patch cord falls out. In terms of where I have it right at the beginning of the chain, just so that way it's getting the best signal to be able to properly read your signal and tune your bass, right? I will quickly go over some of the buttons and stuff of how it works. Essentially, in terms of the inputs, you have the power if you're not using a 9-volt battery on the inside. And then on top of that, you have your input, 1/4 inch, your output, 1/4 inch, and a bypass jack. So if you don't want to have your sound muted, if you want to tune by ear, you can use the bypass and plug into your stuff that way. If you do want to use the output, the regular output, I would say use the mute, but it depends on you and your preferences. The other button there is the stream/sent button, and that one essentially it moves. It uses like an they call it an acu. Let me see here. They call it the acu pitch, and yeah, when you hold it down, and then press it again, it instead of having the regular, as you can see here, right? I press it down. Now it gives me in this, right? So if I was off, it would show. You can see how it's rotating when I hit the E button, right, or the E string. Again, it's rotating, trying to show you where it is, what I need to do. That's showing me that it's a little bit. It's showing me that it's a little bit off. I would try to line up, I think, the red arrows with the yellow ones there, and the B always probably moving a little bit. And the direction it's going is usually if it's sharp or flat, right? Normally, what you would see is you would tune, and then like this is in the chromatic mode, you would just hit your string, and you'd either see the note, or if I had it in bass mode, it would tell me the string, whether it's from 1 to 6 if you have a 6 string bass, or 1 to 4, and then you can just tune accordingly to see how sharp or flat. So for the E, you see it's a little bit flat, so I would tune it up, right? So yeah, that is pretty much all of the functions of the tuner. The only thing I think I forgot to mention was there's a mode button that allows you to switch the mode from chromatic or whatever you're trying to tune. So you can do chromatic, guitar, bass, whatever. So it's very handy in that way. I'm just going to switch to the JDI now. And the JDI is one of Radial's best DI boxes, in my opinion. A lot of people like the reason the J comes from Jensen Transformer, and it's a passive DI box, so no power is going into it. It's perfect for active basses, keyboards, or very, very high signal electronics. And what it does is it really gives you a nice smooth tone, right? It's not very aggressive. And active instruments sometimes, if you just plug directly in, tend to be very aggressive. But this kind of gives it a little extra smoothness. So some people really don't like it because they think it's too smooth, but most people do like it for nice, clean low end when it comes to bass. In terms of how it works, if you've never used a DI box, you plug into it with a 1/4 inch, like a regular patch cable, XLR out to whatever you're recording with or going to front of house with, and then you use your other one. You have another 1/4 inch output, or through in this case, which goes to your amp, and that way you can go to front of house and play on your amp simultaneously, which is very, your sound guy will thank you because recording with a mic on stage with an amp, especially in church, is becoming old technology for bass, unless you're on a massive live show. I personally like it, but now there are so many things that are very similar to this. You have amp sims, you have preamp pedals, and you have many different options for going directly in that can almost mimic an amp, in terms of the feel of it in the sound directly. So yeah, this is just an earlier version of that, a very low tech version, but it still works amazingly. In terms of the buttons, you have a couple of pads for your 1/4 inch out going to your amp or the board. There's a 30 dB one. You have a merge if you want to use your electronic keyboard or whatever. It has like a stereo input. You can merge it into one, or the one XLR, instead of going through, like in and through. You have a ground lift in case you're getting a lot of hum from other electronics in the same area. And then you have a polarity switch if you're using an amp and you just want to you want to get it in phase. And where so that's basically, that's basically the breakdown. It's really quick of the JDI box. Where I usually have it depends. If I'm going to record, I'll either have it in front, so that way I always get clean bass from the XLR, or I will have it after my effects and then go to my audio interface, because that will get me the cleanest sound from all my effects. And then I can still go to my amp and record my amp too. If I have it in front of my effects and I just want to do DI, with my Focusrite, 2i2, I only have 2 inputs, so I wouldn't be able to record my amp. So it just depends on what I'm doing. If I am doing live, I always have it after my effects, usually. But if there's a case where like I don't really need the effects in the front of house, then I'll just put it in front. It just depends on what you're doing and what you want to use it for, in both of those scenarios. But yeah, that is pretty much it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's a little boring because there's not a lot to demonstrate with these, because tuning and just having your bass go straight through, it's kind of straightforward. There's no changing the signal at all. So next week I'll be talking about the Bass Octave Deluxe. Hopefully that will be a little bit more interesting and engaging. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Please like and subscribe. Take it easy.